you, we wanna know. So about you on my show, we want to know. With today's special guest, rising producer Mikaili. Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back for another episode of We Want to Know, where I talk with people that the world needs to know more about. And today we have the amazing producer, super young, super talented, Mikaili in the building with us. Y'all know I love to get studio class. First off, the first question of the day, because I've been on your Instagram, but I found you through TikTok, which we'll talk more about later. But first off, I see you know how to play the piano and guitar. When did you learn how to play instruments?
My whole family, we're all musicians. So, like, little, when I was maybe like 4 or 5, I had piano lessons.
Oh wow.
And then I took like 2 guitar classes,
Oh
but it
wow.
was mostly piano since I was a kid. Yeah. And
That's so sorry. If y'all see me looking down, I'm looking at the questions. So when did you move from just like, playing your instruments to making beats?
oh, like my freshman year of high school. Yeah, like I got bored, I
Yeah.
was studying jazz. At NJPAG, I was studying jazz and I wasn't really feeling it that much. So like I was just recreating songs on like my GarageBand computer at the time, like my mom's computer. And then I texted one of my friends because he was like writing music, and I was like, let's do something. So we ended up just making music for fun, and it just turned into a completely different thing.
That's dope. So I know you said that your family loves music. So when did that love happen for you? When were you just like, oh, this is it?
That's a good question. Like I guess ever since I was introduced to it, like they played jazz, and so I had to study jazz. My parents were like, "You're gonna study jazz," so I had a love-hate relationship with jazz, but I was always interested in like ballads, like slow jazz. And I realized it resonated a lot with R&B, like, modern R&B and funk music and stuff like that, which they also played. So I realized that like I was more into R&B, but I was just using my jazz like background and turning, the stuff I do now into R&B. But yeah.
So now that you mentioned some genres, who are some like your influences or like I guess genre and inspiration when you create?
I'm big on Alicia Keys. I love Alicia Keys. That's what got me started. Cause she writes her own stuff, she produces her own stuff. She's badass. Like I've always, loved Alicia Keys. Um, that's really the main inspo. I love, of course, a whole bunch of other people, but
Yeah.
she's like the main reason as to why like I sound the way I sound and I do what I do.
Mhm. So now that you're in your journey as a producer, was there ever a moment like while you're doing it where you're like, is this really for me? Or the whole time where you're just like, no, I'm a producer.
Let me tell you, oh my God. Ever since I moved to LA, because I'm originally from Jersey, West
Yeah.
Orange. So like I moved to LA in May. I moved in with my sister here. And like, at the time, like I was selling beats beforehand, which gave me enough money to move out here.
Hmm.
But once like I had to start from the beginning, really, like my whole setup, like my friends, everything. I had to
Yeah.
start literally from the beginning. And I got out of like a relationship because of it, and like all this
Wow.
stuff. Like I wasn't connected with my family as much because I was focused on just paying my rent. So like I was definitely questioning like, is this worth it for real? But I realized like like I'm here for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the opportunity to come out here if it wasn't, for social media and like for my consistency. So
Hmm.
it was more like just me telling myself, like, just don't lose your hustle. Like, don't lose what brought you here.
Yeah.
It took me a few months. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a few months because there was times where like, you know, I came out here with a certain amount and I'm like, bro, like, how am I gonna, pay rent? Like, I really like had to like figure it out, pull money out my literal butt, like, like so definitely. But honestly, it's just like it's kind of what makes it fun in a way. Like, it kind of
Yeah.
makes life a little fun having like sometimes doubts because that's when like honestly, you're doing something right, you know,
Mm.
like, 'cause you know what you want, you know,
Yeah.
and like, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in, you know, if you didn't want it. So
Yeah.
it's more just like, am I gonna just keep doing it, or am I just gonna go home, give up, and then be mad at myself, you know?
Right. So I know
So,
you mentioned also just now that it's crazy because the way things lined up, because I actually have a question already for this. So you moved from New Jersey to LA. How was that transition? What inspired the big transition?
so, so Jersey's lit. Don't get me wrong. I love Jersey. Like, I built, you know, my career off of New Jersey. And I ended up signing to a management company, the Heavy Group, um, I think 2021 in March. So my manager and the team, they all lived in LA. And I was like, well, like, as a producer, like, it'd be cool to like be home making the beats and like just sending them out. But I knew I kind of wanted to do more. I wanted to like be in the studio, like with the artists, with the
Mm.
writers, and like be a part of the process, learn how to engineer and like, you know, and I realized like the only way I can kind of consistently do that right now is at least going to them, you know, instead of sending producers like beats or sending artists beats. Like, I have to literally call them and be like, yo, meet me here. I'm in
Yeah.
LA. So that was mostly like you know, the big reason was just like being in the hub. Like, there's a hub in New York for sure. But most of the people that like I aspire to work with, they come out to LA at least a few times. So I was like, as long as I'm like there, I'm a phone call away, you know?
Yeah.
So that was mostly the main reason I moved.
Also, shout out to the management team, the Heavy Group. How
Shout
did that
out
come about? How did that all work out?
TikTok. I know
Love
it
that.
sounds like I know it sounds like a social media influencer. I'm really not. Like, I just post my beats for fun. Like, you know, it's nothing like, I'm not putting on a facade for
Mm.
nobody. But I found my manager on TikTok. I like remixed the Sade song, and like, yeah, he just hit me up. He was like, you know, we need to like get you to here because right now you're here. And I was like, bet, you know, I like the challenge. I like, you know, I want to grow. So, you know, he got along with my parents well. You already know, like,
Yeah,
because at the
that's
time I
the
was 17. I was 17, so I couldn't sign the contract unless a parent was present
Hmm.
because I wasn't a legal adult yet. So he was able to see inside my parents. So that was already the A-okay. So
That's dope. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about TikTok really quick and then we'll go into the game and I'll ask you more about it. But did you ever think like that'll be like one of the pivotal moments for you as a producer, like being on TikTok and like posting your stuff?
no, no. And I know a lot of people say that, but actually no, because during COVID, like every day I would post like myself making a beat and I would put it on TikTok and it would get like 3 views. Like, I'm not even over exaggerating. And then like because I put all this time and effort into it and I was like, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
I got really, really bored and I just remixed the Kehlani song. And I go off my phone for a few hours, you know, and I'm hanging out with my friends. I come back and it has like 10K views. I'm like, what the? Like, I've never seen this many people
Mhm.
like in one platform in my life. So after that, like, you know, I was just replying to comments. People were asking me, like, who are you? Da, da, da. I'm like, bro, like, just post the beat, you know, and I ended up remixing a lot of songs, which is what got me here. I was just remixing, you know, my childhood favorite songs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like the aunties and all them, they was, you know, oh my God, like this is my favorite song when I was a kid. Like, so that was mostly like my main like demographic was like people with good taste in music for
Yeah.
sure. You know, who also like R&B, but you know, so yeah, that definitely was interesting because I don't know, I just had like a little fire. Like, I was like, all right, well, this is blowing up. Let's make another one. Like, I got an idea for this one.
Yeah.
Someone I'm like, yo, can you sample this song? Bet. Upload the next day. You know, I was just like, you know, and then I would lead them to my beat store, you know? So like,
Yeah.
because I couldn't clear these samples, you know, I can't make money off of the
Yeah.
samples. So I would have other beats on my store. I'm like, yo, if you want to hear more from me, like, this is my store. So I ended up generating a lot of money from
That's
that.
dope.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into our quick little game that I like to call "We Also Want to Know," where I ask you some questions that are relevant, some not so much at all. So, first question: what's a beat you wish you made, or at least was in the room
Ooh,
for its creation?
damn. I like it. There's honestly so many. Like, but honestly, like for like recent
Mhm.
album, that song "Get Me Started" with Kehlani and Sid. The beat is so pretty. I'm like, bro, like that should have been me. Like that really could have been for real. But
Okay. Who's a producer you want to work with or like just collab with in some kind of way?
shoot, maybe Wanda Girl.
Oh,
Like
that'd be dope. Yeah.
yeah, because when I started making beats, she was the only one I knew about that was actually like a black woman,
Hmm.
actually just killing it.
Yeah.
I definitely, she has her own sound, like she's her own person. I definitely love her stuff.
Dope. This one's a random one. If you were a salad, what kind of dressing would you have?
I gotta think about this. Um, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Honestly, not even a dressing. I want like a garlic aioli on top of this salad,
Oh.
saying like some
Hmm.
garlic truffle kind of like paste on top of the salad. I don't know why I'm just craving that right now.
But
Yeah.
then you would be the salad. So yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's 2 plus 2,
Yeah. Okay. Favorite instrument? I know you mentioned piano, but outside of piano, what did you?
Let's see. I'd have to say bass. I
Oh.
love bass. And that's the foundation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Love the way bass sounds.
Facts.
What is your current favorite song?
My current favorite song.
Yep.
Hold on. Let me look at my Spotify real quick. I have so many. Let me see if I can find like just one. Hold up. This is gonna be mad random, but
Totally fine.
definitely Tomorrow by Glorilla.
Oh,
Something about Glorilla just hit different. Like just
it
make me
really
angry.
does. I don't be. It just comes on. I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, like
Just feel empowered. It's not even an empowerment
what?
song, but I feel
It's
empowered.
comforting.
What would you do? This is a random one. What would you do if you found a penguin in a freezer?
Assuming that it would already be dead, I would like maybe bury it.
I don't know why I assumed the penguin would just be waddling in a circle in the freezer just because I felt like it felt like the Arctic. I don't really know. I never went to the dead
There's
part,
no
but I just
space in the freezer for it to thrive. It would have to be dead, bro. It would have to be.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. Um, another random one. Why do you think tennis balls are fuzzy?
Hmm. I think because hmm, maybe because if you get hit by one, it doesn't hurt as much. Like it's easy to
Oh.
catch. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's like someone throwing a baseball at you. Like it would hurt if you catch it, but I feel like with a tennis ball, like it's it kind of
yeah. The fuzzy.
it just hurts less.
Fuzzy cancels out the pain.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
maybe.
What song made you fall in love with music?
I would say Butterflies by Alicia Keys.
Mm.
I think that was off of her like first album or something. But she wrote that when she was like 14. So that definitely like
This one kind of drops the ball on you. It's what person, who was your favorite person you've worked with thus far?
shoot. I honestly, oh, this is a hard one. I have to say Seven Streeter.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I was in the studio with her not too long ago. And she's just like so nice, like so nice. She lights up the room every time she walks in. Like her workflow is just amazing. Like, it's definitely inspiring because like, I was just in a room with a whole bunch of like really
Yeah.
talented women, women of color. Like this is the stuff that like I worked so hard for to be in rooms like that. So it's definitely good to work with her.
That's dope. Well, that concludes the game portion of the show. We also want to know. Well, back to the questions. Let me see where I am. So we know you blew up on TikTok. What would be your, I guess, input to people like on how they should use social media? Because I think a lot of times people don't see what social media can do for them. So now that
Yeah,
you're in this place, like what can you say to people who are trying to create but don't know how to properly propel themselves using social media?
definitely what's like not new to you is new to others. Like,
Mhm.
I would say just put stuff out. Don't worry about engagement. Don't worry about like opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Mhm.
you feel like this music makes you feel a good way, there's always going to be someone who feels the exact same way.
Yeah.
I look at old videos that I posted when I was like, just starting to make beats, and I'm like, yo, like I had the confidence to put that out. Like, like, but it made
Yeah.
me realize, like, really, it doesn't matter. Like, people, like, especially people who aren't your friends, they don't know you. So you're new to them, and like, just put it out. If you get
Yeah.
negative comments, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
so what? It's not the end of the world. Like, but there's always gonna be people who are gonna like support you and like,
Mhm.
especially friends and stuff like that who are always gonna be by your side. And it's really just about confidence. Like
Yeah.
you can walk in the room with your head held high
Yeah.
and like and have the worst beats imaginable, the worst music ever. But your presence is like 90% of the time what really just like gets you in those rooms. So like, and there's always room to improve. So it's definitely just be confident, just put stuff out. Who cares? Like, you're gonna wake up one day and be like, damn, like this beat that I made 12 years ago is finally getting recognition it deserves.
Yeah. Can we first also talk about the debut single, Dream, which is such a vibe? How did that happen?
Oh man, that was a throwback, man. So yeah, like the people on that song were like, my friend Sean, my friend Bella, and my friend Blaze. Like we all just kind of, I made the beat like in my, in this person's basement. It was just random, so random, and I I put it out mostly to just teach myself how to put music out,
Mhm.
while also putting my friends on and giving them a space to like, show off their talent
Yeah.
any way possible because we're all growing, and those are people that I've grown up with and developed with. So I wanted to like make it, a space to just like in 10 years, this is the first song we ever put out. So I mostly put it out to teach myself how to distribute music, to teach myself like copyright and all this stuff, like while I was still developing, so that by
Mhm.
the time it gets to a point where, I'm at a higher level, I don't have to struggle with doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
That's
definitely a lot.
That's crazy that you said that because the second part of that question from me was gonna be what was something that you like learned during that process of like putting out a single that kind of like shocked you or like was like, whoa, I didn't know this was a part of it.
Yeah, definitely like promo, like
Mhm.
I put it out and like I remember I made stickers. This is so random, but I made stickers. I put a QR code on the stickers and I placed them all across West Orange, like in different towns in Livingston, like everywhere Essex County. And I was like, if you can find like this sticker, I'll cash out you like $5. It's
Oh, that's
free. Just
dope.
find it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it made people just like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna find the sticker. And I was whatever, like I have money like saved up. I was really, really hustling. So I gave myself a budget. Like this is how much I'm gonna put into this.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of engagement, a lot of people. And there's some stickers that are for some reason still up to this day, like in West Orange. I gotta find the sticker distributor because no matter all this New Jersey
Yeah.
weather, it's still there looking great. And like people would just send me a picture and I'd send them like $5, whatever. Like but it really got people like spreading the word across really, really fast, like
That's dope.
really fast.
That's a
So yeah, I
smart
definitely learned a
promotion
lot from it.
right there.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I don't know what I was going through, like I don't know what was going on, like, but I just was, kind of bored with like just this is my song, go listen to it. I
Mhm.
wanted to make it kind of fun because at the end of the day, like it's engagement that matters. It's about having fun. The
Mhm.
music's like art, but it's also like it should be fun. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
serious. Like,
I feel like, especially over the years, I feel like promotion for like music has changed. Like, it's more so just like, yeah, I know I'm big. Go watch my video, or it's so kind of
yeah,
just dry. So I
yeah,
think we need more like interactive moments like that where people can
yeah,
really get
and
excited
especially
and feel a part.
exactly, especially like for example, like when Summer Walker dropped her album before the most recent one, uh, Over It. She went to different cities and like had this glass box and had people beat it until they can get the USB like of the album, and they would go to the studio and listen to it. Like it's stuff like that like it's just really cool. You have people
Yeah.
show up and support you, like and like it's more than just music. It's really about like your presence. So like if you have a great, presence, not only just in social media, but just
Yeah.
as a person, like people are gonna, really mess with you.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like creative ways. I think someone once told me there was a small artist and she was giving away NFTs to her project.
Oh
And
wow.
so like the first like few like 10 buyers had like NFTs, so they'd have the hard copy of her album, and like it's crazy. I was like, wow, that's so creative, because it really gets people to be
Yeah.
like, I need it. So like,
Yeah, exactly. Especially like as independent like artists, like, and creatives, we have that freedom to do what we want. Like I literally got inspired by my dad because he's a jazz musician and like he's used to selling hard copies, like that's
yeah.
how he makes his money and people still buy hard copies. But some people are turning more virtually. So he told me to go on Bandcamp and just sell my song for $1,
That's dope.
and like have people
Mhm.
basically donate. I think I made like $100, like,
Yeah.
but it was just like this is all mine, like
Hmm.
that would take me about 1 million streams on Spotify, or
Yeah.
I can just have people donate $1 of whatever or whatever they want, whatever kind of money they want into the song.
Yeah, that's dope. Get more creative out there, people.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, we got to talk about, you've been blowing up. You got your people using your sounds. I saw NFL use your sound. That's huge. So, what has it been to see like your beats go like so far? Like, did you imagine they would hit like these places that they're popping up at?
It's really cool because like my face is also attached to it, so they
Yeah.
know who I am. Like, and I like that. I'm not. My goal is to not be behind the scenes. It's
Hmm.
to be like, a producer, but also like a brand. Like
Hmm.
so it's great to see like when people do my stuff, when people use my sound, like they click the sound, they see my face. You're like, this is the person that made this beat. Like so it's cool because everybody does something different to it. Like even
Yeah.
when I sell my beats, then like I sell them for a really affordable price because I know a lot of independent artists like they don't have a big budget, and that's totally
Hmm.
fine. You know, but people send me what they do to my beats, and every time it's different. And I love seeing how people like just like are able to creatively express themselves in different ways to my beats. So it's really, really inspiring, honestly.
Yeah. It's really, really soap. I saw that. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
okay. I
okay.
figured,
So,
yeah.
um, so now that you're at this place, and if people were to ask you like, what was your big break? Would you say like this is it, or do you think like that moment's still coming?
I honestly think it's still coming, but that's just who I am. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like my expectations are like, but the artists that I've worked with since I've been out here, like
Yeah.
I would have never ever imagined myself being in the studio with like A-list artists, getting to know these people and actually writing with them, producing with them. Like, so honestly, like I feel like my big break would definitely be like getting my first like bigger level records out because I have a lot of records out like with independent artists, and I love every single one of them. But I've actually never had the label kind of release yet. So that's definitely a goal. But I feel like every day, like, I always give myself a little pat on the back.
Yeah.
My big break will be when I'm able to, like, honestly, the day like people come up to me and tell me that they're inspired by me, like little girls that were just like me, or like, people who look like me, you know, stuff like that. That's gonna be like when I know I'm doing something right for me.
That's when you give yourself the head nod, like, yeah, I did
Oh
that.
yeah, it's valid,
Yeah.
very valid.
So lastly, before we end it all, I want to ask you if you can possibly give the people, because I know you're someone who's still young, but you've made it to like this place that a lot of people think like they might be too young to reach. So can you give them some advice, especially when it comes to like becoming a producer or getting in the music industry? You just give them some advice on, you know, if they're having doubts or anything.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say like age really, really doesn't matter. It's your drive that's very, very important. Like there's still things that I need to learn. There's always gonna be things that people need to learn, but like, especially as producers, like figure out what your favorite song is and just recreate it. Like, and just be consistent, to be honest. Like don't make it a task. I'd say make it something that, you wake up and you strive to do, like without anyone telling you to do so. Once it gets to that point where like, you just sit on your computer without anybody telling you to and you just make something, like whether it's good or bad, that's when you're kind of on the right path. Just be consistent and learn how to like monetize your music, because the music sitting on your computer as an artist, as a producer, as a writer is money. It's not all about money, obviously, but like, you gotta make a living. You're gonna get to a point like, either I could stay at my parents' house and not pay rent, but be in my bedroom making beats, or I could monetize my music, move to LA and do this stuff real time. So, figure out ways how to make money, figure out ways how to advertise yourself. Like, I feel like more producers needed to turn themselves into brands and not just behind the scenes, because we carry a lot of like the song, plus the engineers. So learn how to do both. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of the writers, they play a part, producers, they play a part. Artists shouldn't be the only one that have that brand. You should have one too. You know what I'm saying? Because once you create your own sound, once you pop in as a producer, that's all you. No one can recreate your stuff. So monetize it and just have fun. Like, don't take it too serious. People that take it too serious, they're boring. Have fun. That's my rule.
That was great. Also, y'all, one time I heard someone say this. I don't want y'all to go run with this, but someone once said that like to like being an engineer and a producer is great because there's always gonna be someone who wants to make music. They can have the most trash music, but will they pay you for your beat? Will they pay you to engineer their song? Yeah. So just go for it. Do it.
Really.
That's just how it goes. But thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell the people how to find you and how to keep up with you, where they can even buy some beats from you?
Yeah, for sure. My Instagram, I'll spell it out. Mikailiaiyan. Hella eyes. But that's my Instagram. My TikTok is M1KAILI. And you can buy my beats. You can just click any of the link in my bios. It'll be right there in big letters like beat store. You can buy my beats. You can listen to them on any type of social media. On SoundCloud, got remixes. But yeah, you already know.
And if y'all couldn't keep up with that, it's gonna be in the description box down below as well. Thank you again for joining us. And until next time, everybody, bye.